In order to use the Metahuman inside 5.8, you need to click on this arrow here before you start and install the plugin here. After this, I will show you what kind of plugins you need to enable inside the project, but it's necessary to install the plugin before we start actually 5.8. Okay, so the Metahuman plugin is now being installed. Let's hit launch. And here let's search for a Metahuman first. What you're gonna need is the Metahuman animator. And please hit yes also. We definitely need the core tag, this is pretty important. The core ML, the creator, yes. And we can also enable this one. I want to enable the live link also because I might just want to animate the face in the end. And what I'm going to do also is right click. Let's go to Metahuman and we create a Metahuman character. So let's just click on that. And I'm calling this one mh_Metahuman. Here in my case, this is a really nice 3D scan from the 3D scan store. And it comes also with 8K textures. When you open up our Metahuman creator here, he's gonna say, hey, missing project settings. And what you wanna do is we wanna save everything. And now we should enable the missing content here. So please click on enable missing. And we should also restart. Now, what you can see here is the default Metahuman character. And when you click on presets, you have like a bunch of options. So you can choose whatever kind of preset you want. And down here, you can apply a preset. It's a lot easier for the unwrapping process to hit the right topology, to hit the style. So please make sure that you get maybe a preset you really like first. Perfect. And you can already see the quality is pretty nice. Let's go to import, and here under import you can see you have a bunch of options now. When you click here on head and body, this is what I talked about previously, you're gonna have the ability to import the head mesh as a separate mesh and then the body mesh as a separate mesh, or you just switch to the full character section and gonna use the full base mesh at once. Regarding the navigation, with the left mouse button you can rotate your camera or rotate the character. With the middle mouse button, you can change your position of the camera, and with the right mouse button, you can zoom in and zoom out. This is pretty important when we want to unwrap and use our corresponding points. What's also a new feature here is when you go on top, you can see Studio. This would be the category for your different lighting scenarios. You can now switch to different lighting, and this means you're gonna have like a moonshine type of light. You're gonna have portrait, night scene, daylight scene, different, like maybe a warmer light, a colder light. This is completely up to you, whatever you want. You can also rotate the light, and out of the box you have a really nice lighting quality here. Instead of showing the skin, you can see now the material here on our mesh. You can switch this to topology or also clay, just to see the overall geometry and how lighting is gonna react on your Metahuman mesh. You can blend different presets together if you want to. Okay, so just drag and drop a preset, then you already have a nice foundation before we start the import. Before I start the import, let me go to head and body, and I'm gonna get this preset here and put this into one of my slots. I'm already quite happy with that. I only need this preset here just to get more of the feminine features before we start the process. But like I said, feel free to also add maybe different kinds of presets so they can fuse together. When we go to import here, you have the option from the custom mesh, but you also have the option from identify, from template, and from DNA. The DNA is an integral part of Metahuman identity. This means it's a higher level concept, the whole character, while the DNA file is the technical asset that makes it work. Now let's go back to the import section once you're done with your overall shape. And here, like I said before, we can use the head and body import. So what I do is I'm gonna get my head mesh I imported previously. You can see if I open up the content drawer and go to my mesh folder, this is what I did import. This is the 3D scan. And you need to make sure that you shift this one a little bit. And here you can already see my head mesh has not been aligned. So this is what I did in Blender. Like I told you previously, I just updated or fixed my head position. So yeah, of course we need to re-import this head mesh, but this is pretty easy to do. Just go to the file, right click and re-import. You can also now see the difference between the Metahuman topology, or the overall shape I should say. And if you compare this to my base mesh, I might be over exaggerating here regarding the proportions, the feminine proportions you can see, but this is what I prefer, way more feminine structure in my case. And this is what Metahuman is now giving you the possibility to completely change it. And back to Blender, you can see here again, it's pretty nice to have the ability to use your own body mesh and always use different kinds of heads. I think this feature is far superior if you compare this to what we had previously. And imagine this is all for free provided by Unreal Engine. We are good to go now, you can see here. And make sure, like I said, the mesh offset, you can see on the left hand side that you shift your own character. You can also use the Z value. Let me put her to the side here. And using this value, the Z value, you can align her further. In order to start with setting up the corresponding points, you need to hold Control and then right click on your mesh first. So choose a point, maybe it's the tip of the nose or a nostril, or maybe you want to start with the lips, you want to start with the eyes. Hold Control, right click to get your first reference point. And then while holding Control, you need to use the left mouse button and place it on the mesh of your Metahuman. You can see now that I'm speeding up the process here and using the corresponding points to get the shape of the eyes, and here the forehead, also the upper parts of the eyes. And you really need to pay attention to the shape of the lips. This needs to be correct, so please make sure that you use more corresponding points here. The jaw and also the ear is pretty important. You really need to have a lot of corresponding points and they should match, obviously. Use again the mesh offset, okay, to shift the character, or just put the character in front. With the left mouse button you rotate, and with the right mouse button you zoom in and out, and middle mouse button again to shift the camera to change the position. I'm gonna use one single corresponding points for a knee. For the butt I'm gonna use a few, and yeah, this is basically it. And once you're done with your points here, you can just simply hit auto solve on the bottom left. And for the mesh offset, you don't really need to reset this one. You don't really need to. Just hit auto solve. It's already enough. And it's going to take a little bit of time. You can see that he's solving the mesh. So body and head. And after 1 minute or so, you're going to see that the topology of the Metahuman is completely reshaping and wrapping around your own mesh, which is actually pretty nice. If you encounter an error, so sometimes it could happen that he's gonna say, hey, the face mesh is not gonna work or is not gonna find any corresponding points, then what you need is you need to delete the single points of your face, or maybe problematic points, and just reconnect a couple of points. You need to have this really clean. And once it's done, you can just go here from clay to skin, and you're gonna see the default textures, which are basically the textures of your metahuman now being used for your own mesh. And this is basically it for now. We're gonna then rig this metahuman to make it ready for animation, assemble that metahuman, and yeah, being able to play this character in the end. So let's do it.